Well, that intro didn't work. So Natalie was just saying that she's got some Mercury retrograde problems going on, and I think the tech god agrees. But we are here now, okay? We had no fancy kind of countdown or music, but we are the fancy countdown and music. So welcome, everyone. Beautiful,
Welcome.
gorgeous, divine, intuitive beings. Yes, I have the amazing Natalie Sogala Katsiv. I say cats, I should know it's Kaz.
It's because I'm a Leo.
By now. It is because you're a Leo, darling. Yes, takes one Leo to know one. So it's fantastic to see people are already joining us and saying hello. Hi, Julia. I know that you are... Can you turn me down a little bit, Natalie? I've got a bit of feedback going on.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know that you're really looking forward to tonight, and you're signed up, ready to go. So we are here to talk to you about, first of all, the story behind AstroTarotFlamenco, number one. Number two, Natalie's going to share with us what flamenco is about for her, what it means for her. Number three, we're going to... We've got feedback again still, darling, for some reason. But number three...
Turning it down?
Yes, please, if you can and still hear me at the same time. And number three... See, I've said number three times. So now I can say number three. Natalie is going to talk to us about how flamenco can fire up your divine feminine mojo. Okay. And if you have any questions, as always, I say, do put it in the chat box, because she's here live. She's a real human being. That is here live right now. Okay, so make the most of that. If you've shown up live, and also if you're on replay, you can obviously put things in the chat, and she'll get back to you. Natalie is in the group, so you know she will get back to you. But obviously, when you're here live, she can talk in more depth. So this is a time where you can absolutely just get that special attention. But let's start. So, Natalie, do you remember when we met?
Yeah. Actually, I remember before we met.
You remember before we met?
Yeah, I spoke to you on the phone to try and ask about making a booking to do one of your courses, and you were somewhere in Cornwall where there was no signal, and you said, wow, for your phone call to come through, you know, you really must have had to have come through. It must have been important. So I remember it being very special.
Wow. And how long ago was that? Do you remember?
Oof. About 12 years ago, at least.
Yeah, okay. At least 12 years ago. Wow. So you remember that. And it's true. I was in a really remote place in Cornwall where the reception did not happen. So that is quite amazing in itself. At the risk of sounding like consequences, what happened next?
Well, I remember when I signed up to do your Fool's Journey, like a one-day course in Covent Garden, and I was really excited to meet you. And when you opened the door, you just went, hello, I'm Tiffany, with this huge smile on your face, and you gave me a great big hug. And I remember thinking, oh, I love this person. I want her in my life. And that was it.
And what happened at the end of the day?
You pulled out the sun cards for me, and you asked if that could mean, I think I made my own interpretation, but I can't remember what my one was, but you said yes, or it could mean that you're moving to Spain. And I was like, oh, light bulb moment. Yes, sun, Spain. And I was wanting to move to Spain anyway to study flamenco, but I didn't know how to let go of all the shackles of my London life. But as soon as that light bulb moment kind of switched on, I think I felt like I had permission. And so,
wow.
There was a snowball effect.
permission. It's such a big thing. It's like on the hero's journey and the call to adventure and denial of the call to adventure, and then fuck it, we're just gonna do it. So you moved to Spain. How long after that day?
That's a bit blurry for me, because I think I carried on studying the tarot with you for at least another 6 months. It wasn't immediate. It might have been within 6 months. It might have been a year later. I'm not really sure. I can't remember.
And you just, I mean, it's quite a brave thing to do. So you had your life in London, and how did you make that transition to go from your life in London to go, F it, I'm going to go and pursue my dream of flamenco in Spain?
It's another magical story. I woke up on a Tuesday morning at 7 a.m, and I heard a voice in my head, and it said, you're going to be in Spain by July, by this summer. And it was April. It was like a Tuesday morning in April. And it was like a clear voice. And I don't tend to get voices in my head. I tend to get feelings of just knowing. So it was quite remarkable for me. And I remember asking for more information, like, what, what's this about? How am I going to leave everything behind in my job? And I was starting to learn to drive, and I was really like in it at work. And how am I going to leave it all behind and move to Spain? And then it was just kind of like this, no more asking questions. And I went into work and I told my boss I was leaving my job.
So you said to your boss you were leaving your job because you'd heard this voice in your head. I know exactly.
I didn't tell him about the voice. I didn't tell him
about but I know exactly the voice you mean, because it's happened to me a lot. So I'm not like going because of a voice in your head. I'm going like, I get it, I understand. And did you have like any life to go to when you did that, or did you just said, no, I'm just leaving and that's it?
No, I had nothing planned. I saved a bit of money, like a month's worth of money to get by, and I took a TEFL course when I arrived in Seville, and I didn't know any Spanish. I knew like my two favorite flamenco dancers, because I moved to Seville to study flamenco. I knew that they teach in Seville, and that was it. I just hoped to get an English speaking teaching job, which I did quite quickly. To get by, and my life just started. So it was a huge leap of faith, but I did speak to the skies in Seville when I arrived, and I told Seville I'm not leaving. So I kind of asked for it to have my back, and it did deliver. So I felt protected. Yeah.
Wow, I've got tingles all the time that you're talking. I don't know whether you guys can feel it or whether you guys can resonate with any of this story so far. Do put in the chat box any questions or anything you want to share from what is coming up already. Natalie, can you tell us a little bit about your flamenco path? You moved to Seville, which was the place where the flamenco teachers were. You studied with, is it the top flamenco teachers? Wow. Yeah. And so we're looking back at about 10 or 11 years.
Yeah, I've been in Spain for 10 years now, but I started in London 15 years ago. So it's been a 15-year long journey, but 10 years in Spain. Yeah.
And so in a snapshot, can you tell us what that journey has been like for you? And
I think really it is exactly like the fool's journey. You go through all the archetypes, and I always tell people that for me, flamenco is life. It's not just an art form or dancing. Flamenco is about everyday life. You have cheerful song styles that you perform, but most of them are quiet, tough, and solemn and sad, and like they let you release. And I think that's everyday life. I think everyday life tends to be quite difficult, with happy moments in between every now and again. But the grime, the everyday grime of it tends to be tough. And so I would say that it's not like, even though it sounds like a big adventure, you do suffer a lot through anything that you choose to do in life. So I would say, you go through all the archetypes continuously. So there are times where you start to build confidence and you feel better. There are other times where you feel kind of really bad about yourself, and You have these kind of like overpowering archetypes. You have the archetype that comes along and maybe gives you a bit of support. You know, you meet them all along the way. So it really is just like the tarot. You know, I live life through flamenco as you do with the tarot. So yeah, I think it's the same.
It is incredible to see, because yes, that's what I do. I live life through the tarot rather than read it. I live life through the tarot, and you have the same passionate, fiery dedication to living your life through flamenco. And I remember coming to see you in Seville, and that was the first time in Spain, and I touched down, had a tortilla and threw it up. And
you didn't have to mention that.
Kind of did. And I couldn't stomach the energy. It was really intense. I couldn't stomach the tortilla. It was really intense. And then, of course, you ended up moving. So still in Andalusia, but moving from Seville to Granada at the same time that I had a magical happening, which was I was sat in a pub dreaming about where in the world I could possibly live. It was just a dream. I was there with Richard, my husband, in a pub in Bath. You know, we quite like Bath, but it was just like, oh, where else could we possibly live? And I happened to turn around, and there was a book, like we were next to a bookshelf, and it was a map of the world. So I just took it out and I said, okay, I'm just going to open it randomly, and I'm just going to close my eyes and do this. So I opened it randomly, and at the time I didn't know you were planning to move from Seville to Granada. And I opened it randomly, and I went like this, opened my eyes, and it was Granada. And that was the first time I'd heard of it. And then I saw that it was really quite close to Seville. And then I think I messaged you. Yes, I did. And you said, I'm moving to Granada.
Yeah, I remember.
That was so incredible. But I didn't at the time think that I was going to be living in Granada. But one thing happened after another. I remember seeing on your Facebook cover the picture of the Alhambra Palace there and thinking, my God, this place looks amazing. And of course, it totally didn't disappoint. I had my breakthrough, and you were a real soul sister, always have been from that time that you got through without any reception, you know. And I ended up living there for like 18 months, and we started. That was the birth point of AstroTarotFlamenco. We started to kind of experiment, didn't we, about like how does the culture in Granada also come together with the flamenco, and it comes together with the tarot and the astrology. And it just feels like, I don't know, we're getting to a place now where we're able to kind of bring it online as well and share with people, which feels amazing. So what would you say for viewers watching, like, how does flamenco actually bring it all together and fire up, I guess, the goddess within them? You really do encapsulate the divine feminine. So, I'm handing it over to you. You tell us.
I think it's all coming through with us because I'm getting more clear about one thing in my life, and that's why we're able to pull through with this better now. I think like one conflict I used to have within me was, how can I join my spiritual life with flamenco? Because flamenco seems so angry, and my definition in the past of spiritual was like white light and feeling pure and like being in a meditative state and being very peaceful. I would be in a really serene state and then like leave my house and go to my flamenco class with lots of anxiety. And it was like there was this big conflict within the energies. But since just a few years ago, I realized within myself that a spiritual path isn't going towards white light. It's just being whole within yourself. That's when I realized that is flamenco. Because I think, especially, coming with back to the divine feminine energy, I think, there's a lot of social conditioning around a lot of things, but especially for women, there's this definition of how we should be kind of gentle and obey, and we've been kind of repressed for thousands of years, and a lot of that divine, when we do have divine moments, I often sometimes, like, unintentionally, my husband, he kind of laughs it off and goes, oh, ha ha ha, sort of thing. And that's been trained into men, unfortunately. They find, like, when we have those really connected moments, they find it funny and they don't take it seriously. And I think, like, flamenco is really a space where you can take your power back, and it's not about being angry, it's just about having a space to express things that you don't have time during the day to express, all those little frustrations, all those everyday things, all those times you have suffered in life and haven't had time to kind of process properly on an emotional level. That's where flamenco really helps, because it is so fiery. You stamp, and I think maybe some people look at me and you're like, oh, she looks really smiley and like a gentle person, but when I dance, it's but you know what, we all have those both sides, and that's what I mean, and so yeah, I think that divine feminine is connected and is gentle, but can also be a very powerful thing that has been repressed for millennia, and is wanting to be awakened.
Wow. You can just feel it, can't you? When Natalie speaks about flamenco, you can feel it, right? Joe is here saying hello. Julia is saying she's resonating with the need to dance. Lucy is saying hello. Joe, I don't know if you're joining us later. I don't know if you've seen that we've got a class on at 6:30 where you can do this, what Natalie's just been talking about. Lucy is saying, fascinating to hear your story, Natalie. A reminder to follow your intuition. Lucy is joining us for class later, as is Julia, and Julia is on the retreat as well, so you'll get to meet her in person. And I think it's great that you showed up, because you just said it as well, like, when all the people have really seen of you at the moment, I think, is pictures or videos of you performing, and you look like, when it's so fascinating, because obviously I know you so well, and it's like, oh my God, like, there's this real kind of, I guess there's something about flamenco that can feel quite intimidating. Like you say, it's quite powerful. It's very, that side of Leo that is very proud and very, ooh, and that really comes across in your pictures, because you have perfected it. You have gone through the fire with it. God knows how many times it's torn you down, upside, oh my God, and up again and everything. And what's come out is this amazing, I know how much you put into it. I know how much care and you put into it. So what we see, if we don't actually meet you, is like you say, a completely completely different energy. But like, when we actually meet you,
we all have that energy. I think sometimes we don't tend to show it, even to our best friend or to someone, I think we have those moments alone within ourselves when we're just meditating on things, thinking about things, or we feel like this vibration, but we have nowhere to put it. I think women can really relate to this energy, but we tend to kind of just feel it on our own in private. I know everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do, absolutely. And so what you're saying is, like, and tell me, I'm not telling you what you're saying. What I'm hearing is that we have this, maybe, conditioned into us to be nice, people pleasing, kind of gentle, caring, loving, and we kind of repress our shadow side. And that kind of means that we give away our power. And that actually what flamenco does is it's a way to reconnect you to that part that you've been shunning, that is actually going to give you your power back. Does that make sense?
For sure. And you're just echoing words that a student told me last week, who tried flamenco for the first time. And she said to me, I've spent so many years being a mother, a wife, and a family member, and I just, that week doing flamenco with me, she's like, it feels like the first time I'm connecting to who I am since she can remember. So she's like, this is for me. This is to get my power. It was really amazing to hear her say that.
I got tingles again. I tell you, like my divine feminine mojo listening to you is just like, oh my God, it's like tingles on speed. It's amazing. And Jo says she'd love to join us later. Fantastic, Jo. I will get the link up for you. It'd be amazing to see you there. I know you're going to love it. It's theatre as well as dance. It's a role you take through acting the emotions, says Julia, because I know that Julia lived in Spain as well, Andalusia, and has Spanish hereditary. I think you've got Spanish
family.
Yeah. So okay, well, thank you so much for this little I'm so pleased to have brought you on video, because I do know how you are in person, and how you come across in pictures is perfect both times, just incredibly different.
I get you.
And I can't wait for the class tonight, and I can't wait to do the retreat with you again in September, and I know that others can't wait. We do have 3 places available for September, so if you want the retreat link, put retreat in there in the chat box, and I'll get the link for that. And if you want class, you have to hurry up and step on it, because we just got 2 hours to go until class begins. So I will, Jo, get back to you. I'll take a moment now to get the link for you and get it in there before me and Natalie go backstage to start preparing for the Astro Tarot Flamenco class. You might be thinking, how does astrology and tarot fit in with this? Do you have anything to say on that, Natalie?
I do, actually, because I remember there's one thing we do in the retreat with mapping, where you can see the constellations that work well together within everybody's individual birth chart, and the ones that have friction. And in flamenco, I would say that certain things represent the elements. So maybe footwork is more earth, the hands can be more air, the kind of like the fiery expression is more fire, and water is like the emotion from the heart. And you will notice that anyone that dances flamenco, they will have a strength and a weakness. So like I always had the fire, the bah, but it took me forever to get the timing and the footwork, and that's all earth. And I have like no earth in my astrological chart.
You are all fire.
I am all fire. So I was all rah, and I was like, pants that technique. It took me forever. So I do think that your astrological map really comes through in your dancing for sure. Yeah.
And if you've seen the pictures I've posted, my mind was blown last night putting the astrology and the tarot to each of the moves, because we're going through the wands, the fire. It's Leo season, and it's time to really fire up that divine feminine mojo. Me and Natalie are both Leos. We're here to help you do that tonight. And so the wands is fire in the tarot, and we did the 10 steps, and I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, putting the cards to each step last night and looking at the astrology that is in the card. So like Ace of Wands is all fire, but the 2 of Wands is Mars in Aries. The 3 of Wands is Sun in Aries. And so I was putting those glyphs next to your movements, and my God, they mirrored them. And the pictures on the cards was pictures of what you were doing. And it was just like, oh my God. And of course, there's the roots as well, isn't there? There's the gypsy kind of roots that, have the tarot side of things and the flamenco side of things. So it is all archetypal connection to the whole of life, like you said, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I can't wait to power it up. It's going to be a triple whammy. Astrology, tarot, and flamenco. Are you ready to become whole? Put it in the chat box, because you've got 2 hours to go, and I will get the link for you. And me and Natalie will see you on the other side of getting that all sorted. If you wish to join us for this special one-time class tonight or today, depending wherever you are.
Simple. So I don't want anyone to freak out and think, oh, I'm bad at dancing. I think I've, done a very simple beginner's sequence. So there's nothing complicated. It's just to connect with the energies.
Absolutely. And although I said that Natalie looks intimidating when she's got her flamenco get-up on, she is still an incredibly supportive, understanding, patient, gentle, and fun teacher.
Oh,
So
thank you.
do know that as well. It's not like she puts the flamenco get up on it. She's just shouting at you. You got it wrong or anything like that.
No
It's not like
way,
that at
no.
all. So Julia's asked, will we be learning steps this evening?
Yes.
Yes. Can't wait. All right, my lovelies. I look forward to seeing you then. And Joe, I'll just go and get the link for you. And anyone else, if you want the class, say class in the chat box if you haven't got the link already. Or if you want the retreat, there's 3 places left and you want to know more about that, then put retreat in and I'll get you the link for that too. Natalie, I've totally enjoyed this. We should do it more often. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I am.
Awesome.
My first live. It was much easier than I thought.
There you go. It's brilliant. Okay, you're a natural, of course. It's part of the Leo. All right, my lovelies. See you later, hopefully. Bye for now.
Bye.